Let's take a look at apparently they're trying to ban OnlyFans now with Maury. Let's see what's going on here.
Day. All right, ladies and gentlemen, so sad day for the unemployed. They're officially banning
Very sad
OnlyFans.
day,
Yes, you heard that right. They are officially banning OnlyFans, and the country that's doing this because it's not yet global is Sweden. Sweden is leading the charge in banning OnlyFans. Well, not entirely, but you'll hear the details later. But obviously, before we go any further into the video, be sure to like the video, comment down below. I think we
read a little bit of the article.
And I don't know, grab a cold one, get some popcorn, sit down, and let's listen to the story. Now, according to the New York Post, they say OnlyFans users in Sweden could face prison sentences under a harsh new law that treats buying online X shows the same as paying a prostitute for X. Now, obviously, I'm having to censor certain letters.
Well, I mean, because it's material
by YouTube, but you can pretty much understand what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
For the people who are currently users of OnlyFans who buy content in the country of Sweden, or even if you are outside the country of Sweden but are a Sweden national, resident, or citizen, you could be charged with sex crimes if you buy content from the platform, essentially. And by the way, I hear this doesn't apply to the people making the content, just for the people actually purchasing the content,
that's
which is
weird.
the most dumb thing I've heard all day.
Weird.
But also, it's kind of like this, you're trying to tackle a drug problem, right? Your entire population is addicted, full of druggies and drug dealers. You then decide to make a law criminalizing buying drugs for the drug addicts. So all the drug addicts, if they're caught with X drug, they're gonna go to prison or cop a felony charge. But as for the people creating these addictive ass drugs and exacerbating the problem, you're giving them a cop out. In fact, you're not even charging them. You're just continuing to allow them to create the drug that got these people addicted in the first place. So like, what the? This is the same thing. People buy the OnlyFans.
Yeah, that really
they
doesn't
go to jail.
stop
But the people
anything.
creating the OnlyFans, they get a free pass? How does that make any sense? But they also say the law, which will take effect July 1st, also criminalizes profiting from or promoting others who perform sexual acts for payment on demand. So apparently this will be prioritizing sex creators, sex workers on OnlyFans who I suppose live stream and get payments in real time from their viewers. So in a way, these people will be penalized for that specifically. But then an easy loophole around that would just be to not live stream.
Basically like
so
cam
you
girl
donos
stuff.
in demand. You could just, like, I don't know, upload pre-recorded content and skirt the new law in that way without really getting penalized or your account getting shut down or whatever.
No, I think they're going to make. I think you're still going to get penalized if you try to
of European
do that.
countries in Europe,
Because you're still you're still making certain content and then putting it up on a service.
But again, it's really not that serious to me. Like in terms of like the OnlyFans,
they
like,
could tag you.
just go to a new platform or get a fucking job. I don't know. Like meanwhile, I'm saying get a job when essentially me and OnlyFans creators are doing the same exact things, just in different ways for money, using our bodies to provide entertainment.
Yeah,
for
just
our
look at
viewers
Kaisen
in exchange for money.
Exactly.
I mean, it's basically the same shit. Just I'm not getting
just
my booty hole penetrated. But
just
anyway,
different
they
shape.
say this is a new form of X purchase, and
I mean,
it's
just look at
high time
VTubers.
we
Look at them.
modernize the
They whore
legislation
themselves
to
out.
include digital platforms such as OnlyFans. And this was a comment made by the Swedish member of parliament, Teresa Carvalho, said after the bill passed. So the bill passed. Like, it's not up in the air. They're not still trying to vote on it. It literally passed. And it's going to take effect July 1st. So for any of my Swedish viewers, for anybody who's a Swedish national, resident, or citizen who's a heavy user of OnlyFans, count your days, buddy.
Yes,
it's over. You're done. There's no way out of this one.
Get out.
They also say later in
Get
the
out
article
while you
that
still
under
can.
the new law, it will be illegal to pay someone to carry out a actual act remotely, such as on a live video stream for the specific purpose of that act being viewed by the buyer, which in my opinion is just going too far. That's just too much government control. Like if I want to pay a little baddie a little something digitally, remotely to show me them things, I should be able to do so. Like why are you restricting my freedom to see them tatas, to see what that mouth do? Like they really think this law is going to do anything for anybody who wants to participate in this behavior, bro. Like all you're doing, really, because if they're going to ban OnlyFans or any of these other platforms like OnlyFans, all you're doing is just pushing pushing this to the black market like it's always been in, like for thousands of years. This is the oldest profession in history. Women and men are not going to start participating in their natural-based desires because a fucking law says so. Some old-ass gray-haired politicians who probably do the same thing, who probably engage in the same behavior, are trying to now make it into a law because they don't want to solve the root problem. Listen, the root problem is sex work. All right, sex work is a part of human history. Literally the first profession.
It's the people who are fucking.
All right, if we want to talk about the real problem, one of the real problems is the lack of intimacy, both men and women. You know, like actual intimacy, like love and respect and loyalty and connections.
Literally penalize the people trying to make that type of right. You would have to penalize
millennia, like
but then at the same time, well, actually in Sweden,
that purpose has kind of been stripped away for a lot of people. They sedate themselves.
In America,
stuff like OnlyFans and
they say it's under the
like
First Amendment, right? Freedom of expression.
I don't know,
shit like that to do business. And there's laws regarding,
and that's just the reality of it. And these politicians they fail to see that. They can't see the forest for the trees, or the trees for the forest, whatever the phrase is. You know what I'm saying? Like, we gotta take a step back. Instead of putting band-aids on things, instead of like fixing things short term, we have to plan for the long term. And I suppose, hey, this is just a patchwork in my opinion. It's not gonna really do anything. If OnlyFans goes down, another site will pop up, and if that goes down, that site will be replaced by another, and so on and so forth. This is non-effective in my opinion.
Yeah,
and to be honest, I don't care. I just found this story interesting, and I know it's not going to work. It's kind of like the 1920s prohibition.
Yeah, it's like exactly.
They're just that made literally the mafia, billionaires adjusted for inflation. I literally did the research about a week and a half ago. It made them billionaires adjusted for inflation. That's how much money they made on the black market because the government and the politicians thought, oh my God, let's stop people from drinking, something people have been doing in society for thousands of years by banning it. I'm sure that'll work well.
Yeah, it didn't work.
We saw how that worked out. It did not. But instead of my yapping, because I know you guys want to hear more of the story.
Yeah, you literally, just look at the war on drugs that the government did. Yeah, that didn't work either.
She's a part of Sweden's left-wing opposition party, which are the Social Democrats.
The reason why it didn't work is because they were already importing a lot of illegal drugs from fucking the coyotes
basically
and
targeting the drug addicts instead of the drug dealers.
Out of overseas and whatnot.
Very dumb, but hey.
And even the corrupted individuals were doing it too. So it's like, why did you do this when you already had corrupted people already too? It didn't make any fucking sense.
Yeah, right. Okay, sure, buddy. She pointed to links between online exploitation and grooming with drug abuse, human trafficking, and prostitution. Yeah, as if OnlyFans was the forefront of that, as if that didn't exist hundreds of years before OnlyFans was even a thing. Okay.
Yeah, basically they tried to do the prohibition, but they couldn't even enforce their own fucking prohibition.
With her Instagram
so it just fell.
Who's supposedly an OnlyFans girl, and they say in Sweden paying for
they can try with this.
Up to 1 year in
look,
prison. Wow,
you don't have to look at OnlyFans.
Sex trafficking laws focus
There's
on
other
punishing
stuff
the
too.
buyers, but not the sex workers. That is retarded, in my opinion.
I mean, these people just want
the drug dealers. Does that make any sense? Why not just punish both? If that's the case,
intimacy
make
work.
it fair. Punish both. They also say pimping carries a maximum
They
sentence
want
for
that
4
meat
years in prison. Okay, that's not too bad. This new law cracking down
trying to stop
on
that kind of work.
OnlyFans and other adult sites is similar to.
I don't think they're trying to stop. Well, I mean, they are trying to stop like pictures and images and videos too.
Which punish platforms that
I think they're
facilitate sex work.
Trying to stop the
activists at the. I'm sorry, this is a weird ass name, but his name
is
the
prostitution work
activists at the European Ex-Workers Rights Alliance told this news blog. So yeah, ladies and gentlemen, that's pretty much the end of the article. All I gotta say is, listen, you guys already know me. I don't really do the whole like left-leaning thing, the right-leaning thing. I'm not even a libertarian anymore. I just call myself. I'm on my not labeling things journey, and to be honest, I just like err on the side of logic. Logically, in my opinion,
not labeling things, but why not? People want to label shit all the time.
It would be more effective.
I mean, if they want to, look, I only play the label game if they're gonna start playing the label game.
They do have a caveat saying that they're gonna find people or punish them.
They want to start throwing labels out. I mean, I can do that too.
Content, but then again, you just don't have to live stream. But again, logically,
I'll just call them worse labels too, because they are those labels.
Been happening for thousands of years. The supposed exploitation of young people in sex work has been happening for thousands of years. I mean, brothels have been here for thousands of years.
I mean, just look at the ancient civilizations that had fucking like brothels.
I see in these types types of work is if you're doing it.
They literally had prostitutions on the side of the street too, man.
Gun to the back of your head, like, bro, like that type of shit. Like you're a slave essentially. But for the vast majority,
yeah, they
of,
also,
like,
yeah, they had that too.
Like, random people, women and shit, you know, just trying to make a.
It was more upfront too.
That I guess they want money from. I really couldn't give a fuck less. But if they wanna, you know, punish those men, they gotta punish the women too. Like,
yeah, nowadays, right? It's more hidden.
The women with women or whatever fucking, you know, identities.
It's more
in
the
specific service
in your private residency.
Let me know your thoughts and opinions down below about this entire story.
Whoever
Sweden,
you're fucking
one of the first
paying,
countries
right?
that's going to be banning OnlyFans. That's interesting. But yeah, do let me know your thoughts down below. And yeah, hope you guys found this informative. And until next time, everybody, stay safe out there.
I mean, we still, right? It's still the same stuff. Just the dynamics have changed a little bit. I mean, right? It's the oldest job in the world, right? Fucking courtesan shit. There you have it, Maury. Trying to ban OnlyFans in Sweden.